pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City Council meeting. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the meeting room and is accessible to the public at any time during the course of this meeting. It's posted on the west wall. Let the record show that all members of the City Council are present this evening. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. First item is item A, approve agenda as submitted. Item B, receive and place on file all notices pertaining to this meeting. Item C, receive and place on file all materials having any bearing on this meeting. Item D, approval of minutes of regular meeting on May 1st, 2017, as on file in the City Clerk's office. Item E, approval of Treasurer's report of claims in the amount of $515,162.19. Item F, approval of Boswa report of claims. F1, approval of Claybaugh Pharmacy claim in the amount of $50. F2, approval of balance of Boswa report of claims in the amount of $50,772.63. Item G, resolution number 6055, approving a request from the Beatrice Area Chamber of Commerce to close Highway 136, which is also known as Court Street, from 3rd Street to 19th Street on Saturday, June 24th, 2017, between 8 a.m. and 12 noon for the Homestead Days Parade. Item H, resolution number 6056, granting Beatrice Area Chamber of Commerce, Inc. and their designees permission to sell or offer for sale or peddle goods, wares, or merchandise on city property located in the Tabernacle at Chautauqua Park at 9th and Grable Streets on September 29th and 30th, 2017 for the Oktoberfest fundraiser. Item I, refer claim of Patricia Davis to City Attorney and City Insurance Carrier for review and disposition. And item J, approval of manager application for Robert Davis, license C-032873 in connection with the American Legion Bidding Norman 27 post, doing business as the American Legion 27, 701 Dorsey Street, Beatrice, Nebraska. Any item that any council member wants removed from the consent agenda? Rick, you're going to abstain from F1?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody from the public? Mr. Catlin?
Mayor, I move that all the items listed under the consent agenda be approved, accepted, and are ratified as presented.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Morgan, that all items under the consent agenda be approved. Your vote, please. And that is approved 8-0. Next item on the agenda, we're going to item number 4, a resolution number 6057, entering into a lease between the city and Catlin Auto Parts, Inc. for real estate, real property near 1st and High Streets, Beatrice, Nebraska.
Mayor, I move that resolution number 6057 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Bilsbach, that resolution number 6057 be passed and adopted. Mr. Templemeyer.
As you guys are aware, we purchased the ground that was owned by Don and Linda Catlin, and that in that property there's a business being operated by Dan and Mary Catlin, and they would now like to lease that property, as we've discussed, through the month of October to give them an opportunity to have a crusher come in, clean up the rest of the property, and have those cars and inventory down there liquidated before they close down their business. So this lease you see before you allows them to rent the property that they're currently operating out of through the end of October to do just that.
Questions? Comments?
No, that lease is for how much?
I believe it's for $1 per month.
Any other comments or questions? Anybody from the public? Your vote, please. That is approved 7-0 with David Catlin abstaining. Resolution number 6057 has been approved. Next item is resolution number 6058, executing all documents necessary to extend the LB 840 loan between the City of Beatrice and Dempster's LLC.
Mayor, I move that resolution number 6058 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Party, that resolution number 6058 be passed and adopted.
You currently have a loan outstanding to Ryan Mitchell and Dempster's LLC. Originally, that loan was due back in September, I believe, 2016. We extended that to May 1st of this year. He's asked for an extension again through July 1st. Ryan actually asked for June 15th. His attorney asked for July 1st just to make sure that there was no delay in him getting the payment here. All the rest of the terms in both the loan extension agreement, the promissory note, and the personal guarantee are identical to those that we've signed in previous times. I think the only thing that's different is we changed the date just to make sure it matched up with the new extension. Interest rate's the same. There are no additional dollar amounts being loaned out, none of those things.
Questions? Mr. Party?
Matt, in your conversations, is it clear a little bit, or do we see an end to this process or not?
It sounds as if Mr. Mitchell has, sounds like he's selling his personal house in Canada, and he's looking for that sale to occur first part of June, and to use those proceeds to make a payment to the city.
Ted?
Well, I had two contacts on this, which aren't a lot, but both of them were urging me to vote not to do any more business with this guy, and I tried to. So I guess what I'm asking you to do is explain to the public that by extending this isn't costing anything. It's simply this is our only shot at getting anything back. So can you help me with that, Tobias, in a much more diplomatic fashion than I'm going to do it?
I sure can try. So at this
Okay.
point, Mr. Mitchell does owe us some money. He has not made that payment. Our options are to either look to foreclose on the collateral that we have out there, which would mean trying to force a sale of the inventory that's down there. We have creditors that are ahead of us, and so any money we got would first go to pay those creditors before the city of Beatrice receive any money. We do have a personal guarantee. However, again, he's from Canada. We'd have to go up to Canada, try to find some assets in Canada that we could collect on. Again, the prospect of that happening may be more costly than we would like to incur at this time. So yes, your other option is to try to work with him, extend the payment time out a little bit longer, give him an opportunity to liquidate some of his own assets and pay you off that way, saving you the time and cost of having to go down and try to track down his assets.
Thanks.
Anytime.
After July 1st, will he be building more down there, or is he going to be coming back asking, or?
I don't know what his intentions are after July 1st.
Okay.
If he were to ask for additional money, that would be a new LB 840 loan application that once again would come back before this body for approval.
But what is there, 3 or 4 jobs down there that our LB 840 funds paid for? Is he intending on
Either 6 or 7
continuing,
jobs,
or?
I think, presently.
Okay, is he continuing to build down there?
As
or-
I understand, yes.
Okay, and keep those jobs here, okay.
How much is he intending to pay us from the sale of the house? Did he give you any idea?
His indications are that would be 100% of what is owed to us, but I cannot say that I've seen the sale price of the house, the amount of proceeds coming off the sale of the house. I have not seen any of that information.
Okay.
Any other comments? No. You done, Ted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public? All right, your vote, please. That is approved 8-0. Resolution number 6058 has been passed and adopted. We have no ordinances this evening. The next item on the agenda is the public forum. Purpose of the public forum is for the presentation of an item by the general public to the City Council for consideration at a later date. No discussion or action will be taken by the City Council at this time. Anyone have anything for the public forum? Anybody from the public? We will announce that the 1928 Ellis Street property, 1923 Ellis Street property closes on Wednesday, and so those proceeds will go back into the LB 840 fund. And I attended the deed transfer to the Ponca Indian Nation on Thursday of last week, and there was a plaque I think we passed around, and that's one that was presented to the city of Beatrice. So it's a nice event.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
on the public forum, I would just like to personally thank the mayor and and Walker from Engage, and our county supervisors for going up to Lincoln last week and helping to sustain BSDC. It was a good job, and you guys did a fantastic job, and I'd like to thank you personally.
Okay. All right, then we go to item number 7 to discuss and review the strategic plan.
As all of you remember, the city went through a strategic plan process just about a year ago, and I know there were some questions about having this sit on the shelf and make sure we continue to progress it. So we try to bring it back about every quarter, let you know where things are at, how things are progressing. There are about 7 key community strategies that were kind of listed in there. We're going to hit a couple of them and kind of inform you where we're at on a few of those. If you have questions, obviously, on anything, let us know. The first one they had was the environment. They had a few things in there about cleaning up different properties and do those things. A couple of things that we've done so far, as you guys know, we just talked about how we bought the Catlin's property down along First Street there. And then we loaned that or leased that back out here through the end of October. But that's a property you'll see get cleaned up throughout the winter and probably spring of next year. As the business kind of closes down, you'll see a lot of those cars come off. The city will come in then and remove the building that's down there. Probably look to just plant it back to grass at this point, maybe some wildflowers, and just kind of clean up that part of the community there. In addition, we did get bids back on demolishing the grain elevator on South 6th Street, and we got 6 bidders, and bids varied from $163,000 to over $700,000 to tear down that piece of property. So right now we're still on the process of looking to budget for that for next year. So you maybe see some movement come October, November of next year of having that elevator hopefully removed. But again, that'll be a budgetary item for next year that we'll have some conversations on as we move forward. The economy is, and Walker's here, he gives us his updates on Engage and how they're doing. But we have 5 TIF projects currently that we have open and are progressing. 4 of them have gone through all the steps and are being constructed. A 5th one, just waiting on getting some financing lined up, and they'll come through. And I checked when I went back to my office tonight, we had a 6th TIF application sitting on my desk tonight. So we have another one's coming down the pike. So we're seeing quite a bit of economic growth going on as you kind of look around and projects that are going out there. Infrastructure was listed in there. We are continuing to work with DEQ to try to get an assessment done on Dempster's property to see the environmental hazards that are there. The first step was I had to go ask the property owners for permission. Property owners would be Wallace Davis. He has not responded to my letter yet.
That was going to be my question. Is he admitting that he owns the property?
I haven't received a response from him yet. So the next step is to talk to DEQ. I believe they would be comfortable with us getting an inspection warrant and using that to go on the property to do the assessment. So that'll hopefully be the next step. And then obviously the other part is, as we go through the budget process, is the long-term capital plan. I think a lot of you saw that as we went through the capital plan. Both, obviously you had PTHOT and he has his buildings, and then you have the electric, the water, wastewater, everybody, they've got their long-term capital plans. You can see they put some work in where those are going here in the next 5 years. And then another one they had in here was housing. Both of the housing developments for Excel development, which would occur at the hospital site, and Prairie Fire, which would occur on North 19th Street, both did not receive funding through the grant process in May. They both have reapplied, and we should find out in June if both of them, or neither of them gets funded in this next round of funding through NYFA. We continue to see other housing around town. Most of them are single families here and there. Yes, Rich?
How often can they go back every year? 2
There
or 3?
is 2 funding cycles per year.
Per year.
So after June, they'll have to wait again until May and see if funds are available come next May.
I think the second go-around, they limit it to how many applications are actually approved. The first go-around, 3 were approved. Excel actually fell into 4th position, so basically Excel was 2nd place. But I think the next go-around, they only pick 1.
Yeah. It has to do with the amount of funding they have. There's some different funding sources they come from, but it's probably looking at 1.
So, have you had contacts with the hospital foundation? If this falls through, did they still intend to, or are they intending on waiting, or are they intending on moving forward with demolition, or do you know?
I don't know for sure. I've not had that conversation with them. I know that there is an option on the ground. It's obviously contingent upon the grant. If the grant doesn't come through, my guess is everybody just kind of sits back and waits, reassesses where they're at, rather than moving forward with demolition. That's my guess, but it's just a hunch more than any conversation I've had with anybody.
Okay.
And then, as the mayor indicated, Prairie Gold Home, that house is set to be closed on Wednesday and have that sale go through, and we'll see if we decide to move on to another one or what happens next. So, questions on the strategic plan, where we're at with things. There's a couple items on there that are a little more long range. There's a couple of them on there that really we just need to sit down at some point and have some conversation of where you want to go. You know, graffiti's one. There's the talk about having a graffiti ordinance in there. There's talk about having a rental inspection program. I mean, some of those things we've just got to decide as a body if and when you want to tackle those issues.
Questions? Comments? I think we're making some progress, and I hope that that progress continues well into the future. And I think we need to review this at least quarterly.
We try to put it on a calendar every quarter and fit into meetings that fit a little bit better sometimes.
Okay, next item is the city administrator's monthly report.
Again, some of the highlights in there, the water park's getting ready to open. So they're down there getting everything put together. Armor coating will be here May 22nd. The big stretch of armor coating that'll be done is 33rd Street. So we have anticipated 2 days. The contractor thinks he can get done in one with all the armor coating in town. But we have been notifying people along those streets that it might be 2 days. So we'll hopefully get that one in and out. Hybrid turkeys, if you've been out to see that site at all, you'll see they're coming along quite nicely with their building. Infrastructure's moving in out there quite rapidly. And so we see no reason why they won't be open.
Can you
with their
back
date.
up to the 33rd Street?
Yes.
Okay, so in the past, we've had these conversations with them. Every time we have an armor coating, tarring it, whatever, we seem to lose about 2, 3, 4, 6 inches of surface because they don't do it all the way to the edge. So the driving surface gets narrower and narrower and narrower. Is that part of the conversation?
I could ask James if he's had that conversation. We've never armor coated 33rd Street. It's never been our street.
Right.
So-
But if you've been, okay, it's on my loop. It's one of the things one of the places I run weekly. And if you make that any more narrow, I mean, so it's one thing to drive by it in a car.
Have to make it one way if I make it any more narrow.
Well, I'm saying if you have to do this twice, if you do this 2 more times in the next 10 years, 15 years, it's not going to be wide enough for 2 cars to drive on because it's pretty tight as it is. And there's no place to go.
No.
So we had this conversation in previous administrations. We've had this conversation about bringing when 33rd was going to come in that we needed to fill in the ditches and put curb and gutter on beforehand. And I guess that's kind of my question. I know that's an incredible expense, but was that part of the conversation at this point?
We've not had that conversation yet.
Okay.
It would be quite expensive. That thing's half-mile long.
It's almost 3/4 of a mile long.
So, and if you were to do a paving district there, you have the school who doesn't pay property taxes, and you have the cemetery who does not pay property taxes. So that would mean majority of that bill would be the city's bill to pick up.
Yeah.
There was some conversation when the school was looking at a possible bond issue of putting that cost in with the bond issue, because obviously they would need an upgrade to the roads if a school was built out there. That was the last time we've had that conversation. Obviously, that school bond issue did not pass, and so that conversation did not move forward.
Okay.
Probably the biggest thing to talk about is the landfill. As you guys know, we started work on the piggyback here this last week, and we've uncovered some things out the piggyback that nobody anticipated when we started doing the work out there. It started with leachate. So leachate is basically water that goes through the trash. It's supposed to go through a drain system. Then it goes out. We have a leachate pond. As it fills up, we drain it. We bring it down to the wastewater treatment plant. We run through that process, clean the water, and off it goes. when they built phase one, for some reason, the leachate water's not getting to the drain. What it looks like happened was they put trash down, they put daily cover on it. They put trash, they put daily cover, and they kind of make that sandwich as they go. Well, the cover they used was clay. Well, water doesn't go through clay real well, and so it pooled. And so as they're digging into phase one, so you have this mound of trash up there, and they have to dig it away, and so they're moving the trash away, and all of a sudden leachate just starts pouring out.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's some quality stuff there.
It is some good stuff. So they hurry up and plugged the hole up with some dirt laying around there, and we brought the engineers in to try to figure out a solution to this problem. We think we have one now. So we think we can basically build a trench. We're going to try to run down to one end, pump it out of there into the leachate pond, and get that taken care of. The next issue we ran into was the liner. So we're in phase 5. That liner needs to go on top of phase 1's liner, and you weld them together. Well, they went out to go find phase 1's liner, according to where it said it should be. It was nowhere around. Couldn't find it. They dug down to where it should be. It wasn't there. They dug down another 5-10 feet. Couldn't find it. Liners are usually laid in nice straight lines. This thing curves and weaves in and out. Have no idea why it was designed or built that way. So we've had that issue. Then we're out there in the piggyback where the trash is going to go, and they start moving dirt out, and all of a sudden they hit these bags that have big orange stickers on that say asbestos, which aren't supposed to be there either. They're supposed to be in the lined landfill. So they stop digging. We have to have basically an asbestos removal company come in. They'll remove those. Price is going to start, I think, this week, maybe even tomorrow, because we cannot move them because they're friable asbestos. So you have to have somebody licensed come in and remove those things. So this weekend, they started working around the dirt around there, and they found another pile of asbestos this weekend. So we don't know how we even bored the site before we dug. I mean, that was one of the things that our engineers came out and did, and we missed this stuff by just a couple feet, and it didn't come up on any of the borings. So if you go out there now, not only does Westhoff have his equipment out there, and he's got, I bet, 12 pieces of boring machinery out there running. It's impressive. I mean, if you ever been to landfill, go out there and look at it. I mean, it's a bunch of busy little ants. Everybody's got their job. They're moving around. They're moving a lot of dirt real fast. So it's an impressive sight. But the brush grinder, he showed up today too. And so he's out there. So he's got his operation going. They're hauling out of the stormwater pond, so we got to drain that. And once that's done, then we got to go drain the leachate pond. That'll be the next thing we have to work on. And Jason and his guys will do that. And so there's quite a bit of work going on at the landfill. So there will be a change order for the asbestos removal. And there will be a change order for probably some of the additional excavating they've had to do to find some things. Some of it, it's on Westhoff, and that's part of his contract. Some of it, though, is above and beyond his scope of work. And so those things will be additional charges.
Joe.
Old Bert take just about anything, wouldn't he?
Joe?
Curious, how old is the phase 1? When was that?
Almost 20 years.
Because the old landfill, what we refer to as the old landfill, that ended with, I think, 1987 regulations, roughly late 80s. At that point, you had to have a liner. So phase 1 would have been built late 80s is when it would have been built.
That was built when you and I first come on the council.
I came on in 92, it was already there.
Anybody else over here? Questions?
Bert would take anything. I just
Questions?
said over there, we'll take care of it later.
Okay, got any more good news?
No, I don't have any more good news, so. Just make sure, kids, you signed in before you leave. Otherwise, you don't get credit for tonight, so.
You're following all this, right? Well, usually we get a lot of questions from the audience when the students are here. Okay, we don't get any.
No, we don't get any questions. Any other questions of Tobias?
You guys picked a good one. We're almost done.
All right, with that said, our next regular city council meeting will be on June 5th, 7 o'clock in these chambers. On May 22nd is our work session, and it will be held at the Beatrice Humane Society, and there will be an actual open meeting
We'll have a special meeting.
have a special meeting,
At
beg your
7
pardon,
o'clock.
at 7 o'clock, and then we'll go into the work session, just to approve something that's kind of minor, but it's not kind of minor. And our next, the work session, as you know, highlighted in your packet, will be at the Beatrice Humane Society, the newly built Humane Society. With that, Mr. Catlin, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I move that the meeting be adjourned at 7:25 PM.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Billsbach. Meeting be adjourned at 7:25 PM. Your vote, please, and that is approved, 8-0. Thank you, gentlemen.